Let's face it, if you're trying to build something, maybe a side hustle or, a full-blown empire, the sheer amount of information thrown your way can be, well, it's paralyzing.
Totally.
You're looking for those key insights, yeah. The real game changers that kind of cut through the noise and actually, get results. That's why you're here, right? To find what truly matters.
Exactly. You're navigating this landscape just saturated with opinions, and what we aim to do with the deep dive is uh, take the specific resources you're looking at, the books, the articles, whatever's caught your eye, and really pull out the core principles.
The actionable stuff.
Yeah, the actionable intelligence tailored just for you. Think of it as like your shortcut to being properly well-informed.
And today, the source we're plunging into is $100 Meter Offers by Alex Hormozi. It's a book that just keeps getting recommended, right, by entrepreneurs who are seeing some serious growth.
It pops up a lot.
You shared excerpts with us, and our goal today is pretty simple. Distill Hormozi's strategies for creating offers that aren't just attractive, but, well, practically irresistible. We're talking about really transforming how you think about what you're offering.
So for you, someone who, values getting knowledge quickly and thoroughly without feeling bogged down by endless details, we're going to unpack what's most important from these excerpts. Let's just get straight to it.
Okay, let's dive right into the impact Hormozi's ideas have had then. What immediately stood out were those testimonials you flagged. Brooke Castillo from the Life Coach School, she reported a $5 million per year profit increase without even adding new services.
Yeah, that's huge.
That's a fundamental shift, right? Driven just by the offer itself. The recurring theme here, and maybe a key insight for you listening, is that a fundamental shift in how you structure your offer can unlock, well, exponential growth. These examples really show it.
Absolutely. And Daniel Moran of capitalism.com, he talks about the book giving him the clarity and the confidence to know exactly how to achieve the level of success he kind of felt was possible.
Right.
He calls it a game changer, realizing his challenges weren't like a lack of ability, but more a lack of understanding how to build these really compelling offers.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that maybe the bottleneck isn't your execution, it's the core offering.
And Andrew Argue at accountingtax.com gives maybe the most dramatic example. He says within just 2 months of applying Hormozi's principles, their sales doubled to $10 million annually.
Wow.
And they were on track to hit $23 million shortly after. I mean, that's not just incremental improvement, that's a complete step change. For someone listening who might be aiming for that kind of leap, it really highlights the potential, doesn't it?
It really underscores a core principle Hormozi emphasizes. This shift from feeling maybe a bit uneasy about charging more to a deep understanding of how you can simultaneously increase both your price and the value you deliver.
Yeah.
It's not about just squeezing more money for the same thing. It's about architecting an offer that provides so much more perceived value that a higher price just becomes, well, logical.
Now, Hormozi also talks about the mindset behind entrepreneurship. And he draws this analogy from Jeff Bezos about entrepreneurs being like gamblers. What's the key twist he puts on that?
Well, what's fascinating here is that Hormozi takes that gambling analogy and adds this crucial layer of empowerment. See, unlike a casino where the odds are fixed against you, in business, entrepreneurs actually have the ability to improve their odds through skill.
Right, through learning.
Exactly. You can learn to play the game better, understand the market, craft better offers, and ultimately you can kind of become the house.
And he directly links this to the art and science of marketing, customer acquisition, comparing it to hitting a major league fastball, which, I mean, that's an incredibly nuanced skill.
It is.
To an outsider, a home run might look easy, effortless even, but it's the result of years of practice and coordinating countless tiny variables.
Precisely. Think about it. Your stance, that's your marketing position. Your vision, understanding the customer, predicting the pitch, knowing market trends. Bat speed, your ability to execute, to adapt.
It all maps pretty well.
Yeah, in marketing, it's all those elements that go into reaching and really resonating with your ideal customer. And just like even the best hitters strike out, Hormozi stresses that even really experienced marketers have launched offers that just flopped.
Oh, for sure.
It's through that process, that iteration and learning from the misses, that you actually build expertise.
And to really show the power of this learning process, he shares his own batting average, a 36-to-1 lifetime return on his ad dollars, over 8 years.
Which is incredible.
That's a 3,600% return. It sounds almost too good to be true, but it really drives home his point that With enough honed skill, maybe you only need to create that one grand slam offer to achieve, significant lasting success. For someone listening facing marketing hurdles, that long view is encouraging.
This brings up a really important question for you, though. How do you cultivate that level of skill? And maybe more importantly, resilience? Hormozi's own journey, which he talks about in these excerpts, offers some pretty powerful insights into the fortitude required.
Yeah.
He paints a really vivid picture of some incredibly tough times.
It's genuinely sobering to read about. I mean, Christmas Eve with only 236 Sixos in the bank. After paying a salesman a massive $22,000 commission on a deal, a $120,000 deal that fell through.
Ouch.
That's a financial gut punch that would just knock most people right off their feet.
And then compounding that, the even more devastating blow of losing $45,700, basically the money from selling his gyms, all his hard work up to that point because of a dishonest partner, leaving him with just $300.
Unbelievable.
I mean, that level of setback, it can be incredibly demoralizing. Many people would understandably just throw in the towel right there.
And it wasn't just financial stuff he was dealing with. He also mentions his mother being critically injured in an accident and totaling his car with a DUI around that same time. It's like a cascade of crises all hitting at once.
But what's particularly striking, I think, is the unwavering support he got from his then-girlfriend, Layla. Her response, I would sleep with you under a bridge if it came to that, that speaks volumes
It really does.
about their partnership, her belief in him, and her pragmatic approach, too, pushing forward with scheduled business launches despite all the chaos around them.
It's pretty remarkable. It just underscores the power of having the right support system when things get tough.
It really highlights that the entrepreneurial journey isn't always solo, and having that kind of rock-solid support can make all the difference, can it?
Absolutely.
And then the turning point, that audacious move of launching 6 new gyms at the same time on a credit card with a $100,000 limit, going into debt at, what was it, $412 per working hour?
$3,300 a day.
Yeah, that's a level of risk that just speaks to immense conviction. It is an enormous risk. But as he explains it, it was fueled by the conviction in the strength of his offer. He emphasizes that having a Grand Slam offer, combined with Layla's unwavering support and that access to capital, that combination proved instrumental in his recovery and then the rapid growth that followed.
Right.
It's a powerful illustration of how a truly compelling offer can act as a foundation for resilience and eventually success, even when you're facing, significant adversity.
So let's really unpack this concept he keeps coming back to, the Grand Slam offer. What are the defining characteristics? What makes it so powerful?
Okay, so at its core, a Grand Slam offer is about creating something that just stands apart from everything else out there in the market.
Yeah.
It's about shifting the whole conversation away from price.
Because price just leads to that race to the bottom, right? Where profitability is a constant struggle.
Exactly. It shifts the conversation towards value.
He uses the terms commoditized for those price-driven purchases and differentiated for the value-driven ones. That seems like a really crucial distinction for anyone in business to get.
It is. If your offering is seen as basically the same as your competitors, then yeah, price inevitably becomes the main, sometimes the only, point of comparison.
And in a commoditized market, the pressure is always to lower prices to get customers, which just eats away at your margins. It makes it incredibly hard to invest in improving things or even just pay yourself properly.
Precisely. The Grand Slam offer is designed to break you free from that cycle.
So by crafting an offer that's truly unique and just loaded with so much value, you essentially carve out your own space. Prospects can't easily compare your price anymore because what you're offering is fundamentally different.
And in their eyes, significantly more valuable, it just fundamentally changes how they perceive its worth.
He gives that example with the software for ad agencies. A typical agency might initially see, like a 0.5 to 1 return on ad spend?
Yeah, often barely breaking even when you factor in overheads and getting the client in the first place. That's your typical commoditized service.
But by implementing these Grand Slam offer principles, he shows how that same fundamental work can become like 22.4 times more profitable.
Exactly. That's the transformative power we're talking about, just rethinking your core offer.
That's a staggering difference. It really highlights the leverage a well-constructed offer provides. Now, beyond the offer itself, Hormozi also stresses the paramount importance of the market you choose. He uses that very memorable hot dog stand analogy. What's the key insight there for our listeners?
What's so insightful about that hot dog stand analogy is that Hormozi argues the single biggest advantage you can have isn't the perfect location or the best gourmet hot dogs or even rock bottom prices.
It's the crowd.
It's positioning your stand in front of a starving crowd. Yeah. Basically, high demand for what you're selling will trump almost everything else.
The example of the toilet paper shortage during COVID really brings this home, doesn't it? In a kind of extreme way.
Oh,
There weren't amazing offers on toilet paper, prices often spiked like crazy, and nobody needed convincing to buy it. But because the demand was just so incredibly high, people would pay almost anything.
and Hormozi shares that powerful story about his friend Lloyd, who had a software business serving newspapers. Now, despite having what he thought was a good product, good sales skills, the business really struggled.
Because the market was shrinking.
Exactly. The newspaper industry itself was declining. It wasn't about Lloyd's abilities. It was a fundamental market problem.
But then when COVID hit, Lloyd cleverly pivoted his manufacturing to automated mask production. Suddenly, same entrepreneur, same core skills.
But a dramatically different market with overwhelming demand. And within what, just 5 months, he said, his business was doing millions a month.
Wow, it's such a stark illustration. Your market environment can totally make or break you.
Precisely. Hormozi cautions against getting too emotionally attached to a specific audience or industry. He emphasizes the crucial need to serve people who not only want what you have, but also have the financial ability to pay you what it's truly worth.
He outlines those 4 key indicators of a healthy market, right?
Yeah. Massive pain, a clear, urgent need for your solution. Purchasing power, can your audience actually afford it? Easy to target, can you efficiently reach them? And growing is the market itself heading in the right direction.
And he reminds us about those 3 evergreen markets that always present opportunities: health, wealth, and relationships.
Right. These are areas where people inherently have pain points and are usually willing to invest in solutions. The key then becomes finding a specific, growing subsegment within one of those broader areas.
And he establishes a really clear hierarchy of importance, too.
Yes. First, starving crowd, strong market.
Mm-hmm.
Then, the strength of your offer. And finally, your persuasion skills. Even a mediocre offer and, less than stellar persuasion can still work if you're in a really hot market.
But the reverse is tough.
Exactly. Even amazing sales skills will struggle against a fundamentally weak market. Crafting that compelling offer becomes your accelerant to success once you're in a viable market.
Okay, so you found a promising market. You're working on creating an exceptional offer. Now, Hormozi dives into the strategic advantage of focus with that powerful statement: riches are in the niches. What's the core idea here?
Well, what's interesting is his concept of the niche slap. That tendency for entrepreneurs to jump from one niche to another too quickly when they don't see those massive results immediately.
Yeah, impatience kicks in.
Right. He emphasizes how critical it is to commit to a specific niche long enough to actually refine your offer through trial and error, to really understand your target audience deeply.
He argues that narrowing your focus, niching down, can significantly boost profitability, especially for businesses under that, say, $10 million annual revenue mark.
Makes sense.
By concentrating on a specific segment, you can tailor everything: your messaging, your offer, your entire customer experience with laser precision.
He shares that very specific example from Gym Launch. Instead of just targeting small business owners, they honed in on a really specific avatar. The owner of a micro gym, about 100 members, signed lease, at least one employee, focused on weight loss for clients.
Super specific.
That level of specificity let them deeply understand their customers' pain points and craft an offer that hit the nail right on the head. For you listening, think about how specific you can get with your ideal customer.
And he uses Dan Kennedy's classic example: a generic time management course versus a hyper-niche time management for B2B outbound power tools and gardening sales reps.
Right, big difference.
The perceived value, and therefore the price people are willing to pay, for that super specific course would be dramatically higher because it speaks directly to their unique challenge.
Exactly. You become the go-to person who uniquely understands and solves a very specific problem for a very specific type of person or business. That deep specialization is where you find real leverage and, increased profitability.
Now, once you've zeroed in on your niche and you're meticulously crafting your offer, the next crucial piece is pricing. Hormozi is a big advocate for premium pricing. He shares that telling anecdote about his father's reaction to clients paying $42,000 a year. What does that story show?
His father's almost disbelief, saying that making shitloads of money breaks people's minds, it really highlights how our ingrained beliefs about what things are worth can totally limit our thinking.
True.
It challenges our perceptions of what's even possible with pricing. But Hormozi quickly pivots, asking the crucial question: would his father pay that much if he knew he'd get a significantly greater return with minimal effort?
And that really gets to the heart of value-based pricing, doesn't it? It's not just the price tag, but the value the customer perceives relative to that price.
Exactly. Hormozi quotes Warren Buffett: price is what you pay, value is what you get. And he argues that while just lowering your price might seem like an easy way to boost perceived value, it's generally the wrong strategic move long term.
Because the goal isn't just getting people to buy.
Right. It's to build a sustainable, profitable business. And as Hormozi highlights with another great quote from Dan Kennedy, there is no strategic benefit to being the second cheapest, but there is for being the most expensive.
Interesting.
The core aim of a Grand Slam offer is to boost the perceived value so much relative to the price that even a higher price point feels like an absolute steal to your ideal customer.
He then introduces this really important concept, the virtuous cycle of price. Can you break down how that positive feedback loop actually works?
Yeah, absolutely. The virtuous cycle of price starts with higher prices. Now, when these are justified by exceptional value, they lead to increased emotional investment from your clients. They've paid a premium, so they're more likely to be engaged, committed.
Makes sense. They have more skin in the game.
Exactly. And this increased engagement often leads to better results for the client, which then reinforces the perceived value of your offering. These positive outcomes then attract even better, more qualified clients willing to pay for those results.
Which boosts your margins.
Right. Multiplying your profit margins, allowing you to reinvest in the business, deliver even better service, enhance the offer further. It's this self-sustaining upward spiral.
It's the complete opposite of the negative spiral you see when businesses just keep lowering prices, isn't it?
Totally. That often leads to lower perceived value, attracting less committed clients, squeezing margins so thin you can't maintain quality or innovate.
Hormozi shares that compelling example of a gym, right? After implementing his principles, they quadrupled upfront cash sales and became the premium leader, charging way more than competitors.
Yeah, he mentioned $16,000 for a 16-week program, 3 times higher than their closest competitor. And this wasn't arrogance. It was about the demonstrable value they were providing, the significant results clients were getting.
And he consistently brings it back to charging based on the actual value delivered, the ROI your clients see. He even shares that photography client example, increasing their average ticket 5-fold, leading to a mind-blowing 38-fold profit increase.
Those kinds of results really underscore the transformative power of this approach, focusing on value and pricing accordingly.
So the natural next question is, how do you actually engineer this increased perceived value that justifies those premium prices? Hormozi lays out 4 key drivers.
That's right, 4 key drivers that contribute to how prospects perceive the worth of your offer.
Those are the dream outcome, the perceived likelihood of achievement, the time delay, and the effort and sacrifice required. And the goal is to max out the first 2 while minimizing the last 2, yeah.
Exactly. Maximize the good stuff, minimize the bad stuff. The dream outcome is basically the ultimate result your customer wants. It's crucial to focus on the transformation, not just the features.
Like feeling confident, not just losing weight.
Precisely. The perceived likelihood of achievement is how confident they feel that they will actually get that dream outcome using your offer. Time delay is how quickly they expect results. And effort and sacrifice is all the work, inconvenience, hassle they think they'll have to go through.
And you mentioned earlier that while lots of marketers focus on making the dream outcome sound amazing, the best businesses often focus on reducing the time delay and the effort and sacrifice. Why is that such a powerful lever?
Because, well, anyone can make big claims about results, right? But actually demonstrably shortening the path to those results and minimizing the effort and hassle for the customer, that creates a tangible, highly valued difference.
Like the fitness versus liposuction example he uses.
Exactly. Both might lead to a similar dream outcome, looking better, feeling better. But the perceived effort and time delay are drastically different. And that huge difference largely explains the massive price gap, even if the end result is comparable.
And it's important to remember these 4 elements aren't separate silos, right? They interact.
Totally. They influence each other in the prospect's mind. A Grand Slam offer aims to optimize all 4, making the value proposition just overwhelmingly compelling. It's about creating a synergistic effect.
He uses examples like meditation versus Xanax or supplements versus health clubs, showing how lower costs like time and effort can massively influence perceived value and even market size.
Right. It shows how focusing on reducing those costs can sometimes be more powerful than just promising a bigger outcome.
So we understand the drivers of value now. How does Hormozi suggest we actually create these irresistible offers in practice? He outlines a five-step process, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. It's designed to be pretty systematic. Step one, clearly define the dream outcome. Again, not just what your product does, but the ultimate transformation your customer is really after. Sell the vacation, not just the plane ticket.
Step two is listing all the problems, creating an exhaustive list of everything your prospect struggles with before and after trying other stuff. He encourages really detailed thinking here.
Yeah, he suggests aiming for like 32 to 64 specific problems. This deep dive helps you truly grasp the nuances of their struggles. Then, step three is turning each problem into a solution.
How do you do that?
Ask yourself, what specific thing would I need to show or provide to solve this particular problem? Often, he says, it's as simple as adding how-to or just framing it as an achievable outcome. It's basic copywriting.
Step four is brainstorming all the possible delivery options for each solution, like one-on-one, group, DIY, done for you, live, recorded, digital, in person, all the ways you could deliver it.
And the crucial fifth step is to trim and stack. This means you carefully select only the delivery methods that offer the highest value to your customer, but have the lowest cost or effort for your business to deliver.
Find this sweet spot.
Right. Once you've trimmed down the options, you strategically bundle these high-value solutions together into the ultimate stacked offer.
He uses that great example around the buying healthy food problem. The delivery could range from just a list to a virtual tour to actually buying it for them, and he emphasizes those scalable one-to-many solutions.
Yeah, like his personalized meal plan software. Huge upfront time investment, sure, but minimal fulfillment time per client. That creates a massive value-to-cost discrepancy. And he provides that compelling gym offer example.
Where they stack all those named bonuses, each with a perceived value.
Yeah, totaling like $4,351 in value for maybe a $599 price. That bundle solves multiple problems and makes the offer feel totally unique and packed with value.
Okay, so having a high-value offer is critical, but Hormozi also gets into the psychology of making it truly desirable. The first element he talks about is scarcity. How does he explain its power?
Hormozi defines scarcity basically as a function of quantity, just limiting how many units of your offer are available. He shares that story about attending a super exclusive high-ticket fundraiser.
Yeah, limited guest lists, celebs, high net worth people.
Right, illustrating that real-world impact of inherent scarcity.
And he mentions the strategy used there, George, cutting the supply of tickets and raising the price, which resulted in the charity's best night ever.
Exactly. Hormozi then quotes Naval Ravikant. Desire is a contract you make with yourself to be unhappy until you get what you want, highlighting that the very fact something isn't readily available fuels our desire for it.
He contrasts selling, say, 100 units cheap versus selling just 10 units at a much higher price, showing how scarcity can actually drive up demand and perceived value.
And he outlines several ethical ways to use scarcity, like a total cap on clients, limited time enrollment windows, offering bonuses that are only available for a short time or to the first X buyers, or even just clearly showing how close you are to full capacity.
He even mentions Chanel's strategy, only sending one or two of each item to stores to create that exclusive feel. And the pro tip, extreme scarcity with very limited one-on-one access at a super high price.
Right. The next lever for desirability is urgency. Related, but distinct. Urgency, Hormozi explains, is a function of time putting a limit on when people can grab your offer.
He outlines 4 ethical ways to use urgency. What are those key strategies?
Okay, first is cohort-based rolling urgency, regular start dates for groups, creating natural deadlines. Second, rolling seasonal urgency tying offers to seasons, holidays, events.
Like a back-to-school special or something.
Exactly. Third is promotional or pricing urgency, clear deadlines for discounts, special bonuses, or current pricing before it goes up. And fourth is highlighting an exploding opportunity, emphasizing a time-sensitive market trend your offer helps them capitalize on now.
He gives practical examples for each, like course enrollment deadlines or limited-time holiday sales. And the pro tip for local businesses: frequently refresh marketing with new dates to keep things feeling urgent and fresh.
He also advises using upcoming price increases strategically. Announce it beforehand to create urgency for people already in your pipeline to buy at the current lower price. Smart move.
The third powerful tool for boosting desirability: bonuses. Hormozi credits Jason Fladlien for reminding him how impactful these are. What's the key principle with bonuses?
The core idea is that a single big offer is often seen as less valuable than the exact same offer broken down into its parts and then stacked up as bonuses.
Ah, the classic infomercial. But wait, there's more. Strategy.
Exactly. It sounds cheesy, but it's surprisingly effective at boosting perceived value.
And the crucial point he makes is always aim to increase that price to value gap by adding value with bonuses, rather than just cutting the core price with discounts.
Yes, offering a discount can actually devalue your main thing. Adding relevant, valuable bonuses enhances the whole package without undermining the core offer's worth. He advises just making it standard practice. Always include bonuses, especially when you're trying to close.
He also gives specific tips on how to present bonuses effectively, whether it's one-on-one or in a group setting. What are some key things to remember there?
Okay, key things. Always offer them. Give them benefit-driven names, make the value clear. Explain exactly how the bonus helps solve their problem or reach their goal. Be clear what it is, briefly explain its origin maybe,
Yeah.
and most importantly, articulate how it makes their life better, faster results, easier, less effort, whatever it is.
And layer in scarcity and urgency even with the bonuses, right? Make them feel even more valuable. He also introduces advanced level bonuses. What's the strategy there?
Right. Advanced level bonuses. This is clever. It involves strategically using other businesses' products or services as bonuses, often getting them free in exchange for giving that business exposure to your audience.
Like the pain clinic example, partnering with massage therapists, chiropractors, food companies.
Exactly. Creates this amazing bonus bundle where the total perceived value might even exceed the price of your main program. He also gives tips on negotiating group discounts or affiliate deals with these partners.
And guidance on what makes a good bonus versus part of the core. Often those wow factor items, especially short, high-value things like checklists or cheat sheets that might otherwise get lost.
Precisely. Finally, to really make your offer feel like a complete no-brainer, you have to tackle the biggest objection. Risk. Hormozi is blunt. Risk is the single greatest objection for almost anything.
And his point is, if you can effectively reverse that risk, your offer immediately becomes way more attractive. He even mentions Jason Fladlien seeing conversion rates jump 2-4x just by improving the guarantee.
Yeah, huge potential impact. Though he does add a little caution. Customers who buy only because of the guarantee can sometimes be, let's say, more challenging.
Fair enough. He defines a powerful guarantee as that conditional statement. If you don't get X result in Y time, we will Z, emphasizing the or what part, the specific consequence.
Right, the Z is crucial. He then walks through a whole range of guarantees, from standard to pretty innovative.
Can you highlight some of the key types he discusses?
Sure, there's the basic money-back guarantee, simple, but might attract less committed folks. Conditional guarantees have terms tied to the client actually doing the work framed as better than money back,
Yeah,
because it focuses on partnership.
makes sense.
No-brainer guarantees combine elements to make saying no feel silly, like maybe a refund, plus they keep the thing. Satisfaction's asked is the highest level, but riskier with high-ticket stuff. Oversized refunds offer double or triple money back.
Oh.
Then there are performance-based ones. Results-based guarantee they only pay after getting a specific result. Very powerful for alignment. Personal service guarantee, one-on-one, help until the goal is hit, usually with conditions. A delayed second payment, first outcome guarantee covering costs. Lots of ways to reduce initial risk.
He even mentions the anti-guarantee, just no guarantee at all.
Yeah, used carefully, it can convey extreme confidence or exclusivity,
Hmm.
is overall advice. Maybe start with service-based or performance partnerships to align incentives naturally. Then, once you have data and confidence, you might introduce less restrictive guarantees to boost volume if needed.
Okay, so after meticulously crafting this high-value, low-risk, desirable offer, it needs a name that actually grabs attention. Hormozi stresses this, right? A Grand Slam offer needs a compelling name.
Absolutely. He says a lazy name can ruin everything. He even gives a formula for a magic headline.
What's the formula? Can you walk us through it?
Yeah, it's quite structured. Benefit for target audience, achieved in time interval, complete with container word for reason why. Each part plays a role in making it sound irresistible.
Okay, let's break that down. Benefit. What kinds of things fit there?
The benefit should be that clear, desirable outcome, like pain-free, double your profit, perfect smile, focus on the positive result they want.
And target audience being specific about who it's for.
Exactly. The more specific, the better it resonates. Bee cave dentists, Rolling Hills moms, salon owners, you know who you're talking to.
Time interval sets the expectation for speed.
Right. Could be 4-hour, 21-day, 6-week, 3-month, whatever fits the offer, and realistic results time frame.
The container word kind of frames it, gives it a feel.
Yeah, words like challenge, blueprint, boot camp, system transformation suggests structure or significant outcome.
And finally, the reason why adds that extra nudge.
Often, yeah. Things like free, 88% off, grand opening, new management gives a compelling reason to act now.
Hormozi suggests using, 3 to 5 of these components to create a unique, desirable headline. He gives a bunch of examples. What's the main takeaway for listeners on naming?
The key takeaway is don't be lazy with naming. It's crucial. Use this formula, or something like it, to craft headlines that clearly scream the benefit, to whom, how fast, and what it is. He also says use the same logic for naming your bonuses and sub-items.
Keep it consistent.
Yeah, and remember, you can always test and iterate on names over time, tweak the creative, the copy, the headline itself. Find what really clicks with your market.
He really emphasizes that a bad name can just undermine a great offer. It's that first impression.
Absolutely. It's worth putting thought into getting it right.
Finally, Hormozi shares a really personal reflection, hitting that $100,000 milestone in his personal bank account. What's the significance of that for him?
He describes it as just deeply emotional, a feeling of profound relief, security after years of intense struggle and, financial uncertainty. He even says that first $100 K felt richer, more significant than hitting much bigger numbers later on.
Wow.
It represented that turning point, a real validation of the hard work and the principles he'd been fighting to implement.
He then circles back to all the core principles we've talked through in this deep dive. Creating exceptional value, premium pricing, understanding the market, niching down, boosting desirability with scarcity, urgency, bonuses, killing risk with guarantees, and effective naming.
And he concludes with a really powerful statement that a truly well-crafted Grand Slam offer, using these principles, should have the power to get a business to its first $100,000 in revenue.
So the fundamental message here seems incredibly clear. By strategically focusing on creating these truly irresistible offers that deliver exceptional value and drastically cut the risk for your customers, you, as an entrepreneur, can dramatically increase your odds of hitting significant success.
Yeah, this deep dive has hopefully given you a valuable new lens, a framework for looking at your current offers and thinking strategically about how to really transform them into something compelling, something that stands out.
And for you, the listener, here's maybe a final thought to chew on. Based on everything we've unpacked from Hormozi's insights today, what's maybe just one specific small change but potentially high impact that you could make in your current offer strategy, like right now? What do you think could yield the biggest positive results for your business? Just take a moment, identify that one actionable step.
This deep dive was specifically tailored around your interest in cracking the code on compelling offers, drawn right from the $100 offers excerpts you provided. We really trust it's offered you some valuable insights and hopefully some actionable ideas.
And we're genuinely curious, what other pressing business challenges are you wrestling with right now? Or what other influential books, articles, sources are you exploring that you might like the deep dive to tackle for you next time? Definitely let us know. We're always listening and looking for the next valuable topic to explore together.